Hello, everyone, and welcome to 2024. I hope you've all had a fantastic holiday, and I hope that you've kicked off the new year with a bang. I'm sure a lot of you have made a whole bunch of New Year's hobby resolutions. That includes me. And today I kind of just want to talk about my resolutions, and perhaps if you've not made your resolutions yet, maybe just caution you about how to go about doing it in a way that might be helpful and result in more success for your resolutions. Most of us make resolutions because we want to become the very best versions of ourselves over the course of the next year. And the truth is that a lot of the time it's completely unrealistic. Of course, I'm not saying that you'll never achieve the things you're looking to do. It's just that if you're anything like me, it's super, super easy to overcommit to something and really challenge yourself at the start of the year and just kind of put it off, or the magic kind of dies in the first month or two. And by the time you get to the end of the year, you've actually not got anywhere near what you were aiming for. This kind of links back into something I talked about a few videos ago, where we were talking about long-term and short-term goals. And essentially what I think most of us do at the start of the new year is we focus on our long-term goals, because it's a New Year's resolution. You think, okay, I've got the whole year. What am I going to do this year? And so, we come up with a lot of fantastic long-term goals. For me, my longest term goal would be to get rid of my entire backlog of Warhammer minis. That would be fantastic. It's not going to happen. Or potentially a good long-term goal for me for this year would be to paint 1,500 points of each of my armies to completion, have them based, varnished, everything. And that's a great goal to have, but the issue comes in having established this long-term goal and not necessarily putting a plan of action into place to reach the long-term goal. And this is why we need short-term goals, and this is why I've structured my own resolution in a particular way that I think is going to make it easier for me to achieve what I'm aiming to achieve. So your short-term goal might be, instead of saying, I want to complete 1,500 points of all 5 of my armies by the end of the year, that's 7,500 points. That's a lot of models. So instead of doing that, perhaps we can break it down in a way that is a lot more attainable. So let's say, for example, 6,000 points over the course of the year. How do we hold ourselves accountable for that? Well, 6,000 points over the course of the year would be a nice 500 points each month, or roughly 125 points a week, which is definitely something that you could do. And if you approach it that way and maintain your commitment, then you're going to reach your 6,000 point goal by the end of the year. But if you just go into it and you say 6,000 points by the end of the year, and then you just kind of start working on things here and there, it's a very real possibility that you won't make your goal. I want to tell you what my resolution is. So thinking about all of this over the holidays and kind of working out what can I commit to without overcommitting, and what can I hold myself accountable for, I've kind of stripped it back even further than just saying 500 points a month, for example. I've made my overall goal for the year, I think, much lower and therefore far more attainable. It's going to be far easier to hold myself accountable. And it's funny because my goal started here, I thought, that's an overcommitment, bring it down. And after a day or two, I thought, that's an overcommitment, bring it down. I brought it down a whole bunch of times. So my goal for 2024 in terms of hobby is not based on how many units I paint. It's not based on how many points worth of models I paint or how many models themselves I actually paint. I've made myself a point system. So the goal is 50 points. I'm going to give myself 1 point for every unit that I paint that is partially painted already. So if I've assembled it, primed it, maybe done some of the color, like blocked in some base layer colors, or I've completed the armor, but I've done no other details. Anything that is already underway, if I complete it, I get 1 point. If I finish a unit that's anywhere between unbuilt and built and primed, it's anywhere in that area, I'm counting that as not started, and I'll give myself 2 points for finishing that unit. And so the goal by the end of the year is to have 50 points. One of the things that's going to make this a little bit easier for me is that a unit can be anything. So a unit might be 10 Cabalite warriors. That's going to be quite a bit of work for me, and that might take longer than the average time I've allowed myself. But I could follow it with a character model. It's just one model. Once it's painted, that's out the way and done. That could bring my average time back down. Something that's naturally going to happen throughout the year is I'm going to have slow periods. I might have a lot of work for a couple of weeks. I might go on holiday. I might be ill. You never know what's going to happen. So I might have these really slow periods where I don't get much painting done. Fortunately for me, and maybe for you if you're interested, we're going to be doing a couple of 12-hour painting challenges throughout the course of the year now that I'm getting the channel rolling. And I'm hoping that by really pushing myself in those challenges, I'm hoping that maybe I can get a couple of units done at a time. And when we film those videos, I'll actually have achieved something really great for the channel, but also for myself and for working up the points board that I've got in my head for 2024. It is my first time doing it, so I'm going to have to feed back to you this time next year and we'll figure out something new if it doesn't work. But at the moment, I genuinely feel like it's quite a healthy approach to the hobby. And I think that it's quite a good way of getting a good amount of painting done. I think it depends a lot on the kind of painter you are and how much you paint. But for me, I think this method is going to be very successful because I do have a lot of other interests as well. So I'm quite excited to see how much this kind of pushes me to do. And I think over the course of the year, it's basically going to result in me having painted more things than I would have if I was just kind of going at my own pace. I'm very flaky. I get excited about a project and I work on it for a while. I usually don't finish it before I get excited about something else. And I just abandon ship, go straight to project number 2, and basically just go in a chain like that. Nothing ever gets finished. I also want to say that unless it is specifically a painting video where I'm painting part of my own collection, any kit bashes, any paint tutorials that I do on the channel don't count towards my points for the year. So the Iron Hands Captain, the Imperial Fist, the Company Champion, any projects that I do like that for the channel are for the channel. They're not for me, so they will not count. I still think that it is quite a lot to fit in. I'm going to have to actually work hard on reaching my goal and making stuff for the channel. But I'm excited about it. I'm feeling cautiously optimistic. I think it's achievable. If you've got your own hobby resolutions, I definitely want to hear them down in the comments. I want to know what everyone's up to. I want to know what you're working on and what your goals are for 2024. That would be really nice to see. So I know this has been a short one, but we've got something that I think is quite exciting next week. Thanks for taking the time to listen to me have a bit of a ramble. And if you've got the time, please do tell me what you're going to get up to for 2024. What big plans have you got? Are you doing New Year, New Army? Is this the year you're going to smash up your backlog? Let me know how you're handling it all. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys next time.